You're listening to Jonesy's Jukebox on KLOS. It is 10 after 12 bells. And that was Gary Newman down in the park. Before that was T-Rex, Banger Gone. Gong, get it on. We're here with Midge Ure. How are you?
I'm still here, which is incredible. I'm very well, thank you.
Good to see you.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Ain't seen you in 30 years? More?
Something like that. Last time I saw you was here in the city, but it really was 25, 30 years ago, yeah. We were all young and svelte.
Yes. Definitely not young. What are you? How old are you?
64 now.
Like the Beatles song.
I know, isn't that horrible? Everybody who turns 64 gets that thing sung at them.
I can't wait. Well, I'm 63 Monday.
Oh, are you? Well,
Yeah.
happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. You're eligible for a bus pass.
I've got, you know what? I probably am.
No, you are.
I think this year it's the pension year.
Cookie's got one. He showed me it yesterday on the phone. He was all proud of it. He showed me it on FaceTime. FaceTime.
I've got the train one. The train one's
The
brilliant.
Oyster. Is it called the Oyster?
No, that's for the underground. The train one is for the overland trains, and you have to flash this thing, and you get a third off. And being Scottish, that's quite important.
Watch your pound grow. Yeah, he's got the one where you can go on the
buses.
London train,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
bus and train.
I see. I don't live in London. I live out in the sticks. I live out in Bath.
Do you?
Yeah, it's very posh in Bath.
But that's kind of a happening place, isn't it?
It's next to Bristol, which is a happening place. Bath's where dinosaurs go to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, all rock stars. They go and live in Bath.
Do they still have the old Roman buildings there?
Yeah,
Is
they've
it
still
like
got
that?
the old Georgian things. Then the Roman baths are still there. The place it was named after, the old hot water bubbling out the ground and stuff. But it's very Jane Austen around there. Very Peter Gabriel, I should say, because he's got his studio there, hasn't it? It's very posh, very public school.
John Taylor has a gaff out there.
He has. I saw him last week.
Yeah.
Actually, he's just gone back out again for
Yeah.
the summer. He's out there for like 6 or 7 weeks. He said. His place is. I mean, you know.
Have you been in?
I live in
gaff?
I live in a house. He lives in a palace. He lives in a. It's an Edwardian. No, it's not. It's an
Tudor?
Elizabethan or Tudor. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's ancient. So it's like 12th century or something. Mad thing, and it's beautifully designed. So I hear what they did was, rather than just decorate the place, they got somebody in from Hollywood to come out and buy all the right things, and it's decorated absolutely beautifully. So it's like living in a really cool museum.
Oh,
It's fantastic.
yeah. He keeps inviting me out there. I just can't get
Oh, you
it.
should go. You should go. It's fantastic.
It's too far.
It's upstairs, downstairs,
Is it?
but it's all upstairs.
Oh man. What else is happening? You're playing tonight
Yeah, the El Rey.
at the El Rey.
Yeah, that's a great place. It's a lovely place.
Yeah.
Really nice old converted
Great
cinema
old
or
place.
something, or
Yeah.
theatre or something.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I'm sure it was a cinema at one point.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So I'm doing that with Paul Young.
How is Mr. Young?
He's good. He's good. I mean, he's been through some rough times recently.
Health-wise?
No, his wife got cancer and passed about 6 months ago, which is just hideous. They had been together for a long, long time. So we've dragged him out, and he's doing exactly what he should be doing.
Yeah.
He's out playing. He's
Being
out
busy.
with people that he knows and enjoys being with. So he's having a ball. He hasn't really toured here for 25 years.
Yeah.
So I had a word with him and said, right, come out and we'll do this double thing. We'll share musicians and we'll hang out together, and that's exactly what we're doing. It's
Well,
fun.
that's good that you did that.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good.
Was you pals with him anyway?
Well, we'd known each other, like you do in this industry.
Yeah.
The UK is quite a small place, and you cross paths a lot. So we'd crossed paths a few times back then. And we worked together, of course, on the Band Aid record, because Paul sings the opening line.
Yeah.
Do they know it's Christmas thing?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'd known each other for a long time, but never actually toured together. So it's quite nice to do that.
Yeah. He used to live here. I used to hang out with him.
Oh, yeah?
A little bit. When
He was a biker.
Yeah, and he was living here like in the mid-80s, late 80s.
Yeah.
Mid-8, like 78, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
but we used to hang out quite a lot.
Yeah, well, he had the obligatory Harley, didn't he? He was out here riding about,
Yeah,
doing his thing.
yeah. No helmets.
No helmets. Yeah.
That's when it was.
Well, you're okay. If you had no helmets out here, you still get hair to waft in the warm air. I can't do that. I might as well wear a helmet.
Yeah. I know. Do you still ride a bike?
I do. I've got. I don't have a Harley anymore. I kind of gave it up, and then I decided I was never going to have another bike, and then I bought a Bonneville.
Yeah.
So I've got a lovely black Bonneville back home.
A
in the
newer
UK.
one?
One that stopped, yeah. One that's got brakes,
Yeah.
which is fantastic.
No leaks.
No leaks, and brakes that work. It's fantastic, yeah.
And you ride it around up in Bath?
I do, but I have to say I'm a fair weather rider these days.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I don't know whether it's you start to think that you're not as capable of doing it, or you lose the cockiness that you had
Yeah.
when you were a kid.
The fearlessness.
Yeah, the fearlessness, the bravado. You get on the bike and you ride up to San Francisco or whatever it is from here, and you go and have a weekend, and you don't think anything of it. But as you get older, you think, you know what, the car's really appealing.
Yeah.
The seatbelt and the air conditioning. You know?
Yeah, and the safety.
And the safety, yeah.
I still love it though, man. I ride everywhere.
Yeah, well, you've got the weather for it here. You know,
Sure.
we don't have it back there.
Sure.
You know, if you like getting wet and cold and miserable with, you know, icicles hanging off your nose, have a bike in the UK.
Yeah. Did you take a? Obviously, you did take a test for a bike.
Yeah.
Is that harder than a car in England? Because I never took the test. I had plenty of cars. I was riding without a license. I never had a license because Cookie said it was one of the hardest things. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I ain't doing it then.
In the UK, it wasn't that bad. I did it here as well.
Yeah.
I was here for
Well, that's easy, yeah.
a year or something, and I bought a Harley.
Yeah.
And you're allowed to ride a Harley here on a learner's license, but you can't ride it at night, or it was back then. And then I tried to take my test here. And of course, you can't on a Harley because you've got to do figure of eights and things.
Yeah,
Because they're too heavy; they
You
just
got a
fall
small-
over.
You need
know.
a small bike to take
And of course,
the test.
could I hire a bike? No, you can't rent bikes in Los Angeles anymore because everyone kills themselves on the things. So you couldn't rent one. So I had to borrow someone's bike, which was like a 900cc Kawasaki.
Too big.
And my feet hardly touched the
Yeah.
ground. It was so high. So I took my test on that and passed. But I love the fact that they give you the multiple answer questions.
Right.
You know,
Here.
You know, yeah, here. So you're saying, if you're riding down the road and someone runs into the street in front of you,
Do you stop?
do you accelerate past them, or do you slam your brakes on, violently, or do you slow down to a gentle stop? And you think, oh, I wonder which one it is,
Yeah.
So, I passed my test here as well.
Yeah. 21 questions, isn't it? Is it
Yeah.
21 or 25 or something?
And the great thing is, if you get it wrong, they send you straight back and say, no, do it again now.
Yeah.
And you just tick the boxes that you think you got wrong.
And you went in the parking lot through a couple of pylons and that's about
Did
it.
that. You do a figure of eight thing and try
Yeah.
and stay inside the lines, and
Yeah.
away you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Piece of cake. But in England, it's a different story.
It is a
isn't it?
different story, yeah. You've got to go out, you've got to have instructors, and you've got to follow the bike in front of you, and you've got to have earpieces and headphones, and they tell you what to do, and, it's bizarre.
But do you
It's all
think
different
that
things.
must make a better driver of you, taking your test in England and on a motorbike in England and a car than opposed to going around the block here?
Yeah.
It must drill more of
It's more rigorous. It's
Yeah.
more rigorous. You have to learn the highway code, which is our book of rules, which
Yeah.
changes every year.
Yeah.
About the signs and what you can and can't do, and so you have to go through all of that because they can ask you any random question,
Yeah.
and you can fail on getting two of these things wrong or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So it's quite rigorous.
I don't know why they don't do it everywhere.
Yeah.
Germany's even harder, I think,
Oh, I've never tried that.
because the Autobahn.
Oh, that's frightening. Yeah, if you've never
You can
been
go
to a German
1,000 miles an
autobahn,
hour.
you can go as fast as your car does. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's mad.
Anyway, where was we?
I don't know. We were talking about guitars.
Oh yeah, you said you were.
I was asking if you still had your lovely white one with the transfer on it.
Oh yeah. No, I don't have that. This lady has it in Hawaii, and I tried to get it back, and she was gonna give me it back for a price.
Right.
But then she wanted like a contract with it, like if I sell it, I got to have most of the money back or something. And I'm like, can I just give you the money?
Yeah.
I understand because I've been known to flog everything. 10 times over. So I get where she's coming from, but I really did want it back just to keep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's an iconic item.
Yeah.
It's a piece of music history now. That guitar.
Yeah, I got Sid's bass.
Oh, have you?
Yeah,
Fantastic.
it's available.
I can't play a bass. Maybe that woman in Hawaii. She might want it. Do a swap.
No, it's not worth a swap.
Is it not?
Way rather have Sid's bass than my guitar.
All right. Okay.
If you're thinking of dough-wise, for sure. There's only had one. Well, I only had one really. No, I didn't. I had a few guitars, but it's all good.
See, I had Mick Ronson's guitar in my little cupboard, and
You had his guitar.
I had his guitar, but because
The one he used like on Spiders.
it was a Les Paul. It was a black Les
Shaved.
Paul, but he'd scratched
He shaved
all
it,
the
yeah, so it's
all
wood.
the surface off, so it was just plain wood with
Black
no
on the
knobs on it.
back.
Black on the back, and he was producing the Rich Kids album.
Yeah.
And he was travelling between here and the UK, and he said, "I've got nowhere to keep this thing." And I was a huge
Mick
Ronson fan.
Me too.
And I said, "Well, I'll put it in my little one-bedroom flat for you." So every time my mates came round, I'd say, "Come and see this," and we'd open up this guitar, and they'd just touch it
Yeah.
lovingly, just to lay your hands on this
Yeah.
this iconic piece of wood.
Yeah.
It was glorious. I had that in my little flat for 6 months.
Ah.
It was great. That's how sad guitarists talking about guitars.
No, it's okay. It's okay. And then you said you held Mark Bolan's guitar.
I did, yeah, because you were playing Bang a Gone when I just walked in. And I did there used to be a television show. You might remember this.
Was it his show?
No, it was Supersonic, it was called.
Yeah.
Right, Supersonic.
Mike Mansfield?
Mike Mansfield, Q Camera 3,
Yeah.
and all of that stuff. And I was playing live with my band Slick back in the mid-'70s.
Yeah.
And Mark Bolan was on the programme miming to Ride a White Swan. And he came into the dressing room and said, "Look, this is crap. Let's go up and jam some rock and roll thing on the credits." So he came in with that guitar and handed it to me and said, "Right, you play guitar, I'll do a bit of singing." And I'm standing there with another iconic thing, which
Yeah.
I've never seen to this day since he died. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's gone, but
I didn't have it away.
that woman in Hawaii again. She's got a hell of a
I
collection
bleed
going.
now. Should we play some music? What we got? We've got Ultravox.
Oh,
Vienna.
if you have to.
I know, well.
There's no guitars on that.
I know. Jonesy's Jukebox, KLOS, with my mate Midge Ure. Take it away. Jonesy's Jukebox, KLOS, with my guest Midge Ure. That was David Bowie and the Spiders from Mars, Ziggy Stardust, and before that was Ultravox, Vienna. I remember, I think I was living in London I don't know, what year was that when Vienna came out?
Oh, 80 or 81?
Yeah, I remember the video, black and white video.
Yeah.
Was it in Budapest?
No,
It actually was in Vienna?
No, we did a bit of it in Vienna. Most of it was shot. The opening shot was all with a horse and all of that stuff. And the wet cobbles was Covent Garden. There was a bit in the middle with somebody running down a staircase and a big glorious empty volume. That was Kilburn State Theatre.
You just took the romance out of it.
And well, no, bits of it were in Vienna. We went over for a day. The great thing was that the record label at the time, when we said we wanted to make a video, they said, "Why?" Because it's already number 2 in the charts. What are you going to do with a video? And I had to sit down with the record label and explain that with a video, you could be on, 10 major TV shows on a Saturday night all around Europe, all at the same time. But you're controlling what people see as opposed to turning up and you've got dancers and you've got big yellow bananas and whatever it is that they think is interesting for television.
Yeah.
And we had to borrow the money to make the video. The record company wouldn't do it. And it changed everything.
That was prior to MTV, though, right?
It was. MTV didn't come until 83,
Late 80s,
84,
right?
something like that.
Yeah.
It was later, yeah.
Oh, Midge.
I know.
What are we going to do with you?
I have no idea.
Who wrote the Live Aid song? Was it
Did it
called
was Christmas?
Yeah.
But Bob and I, Geldof and I.
It's just the two of you?
Yeah. We sat for 2 hours in a restaurant trying to figure out how we could raise some money for this famine in Ethiopia. And it took us 2 hours to figure out that we're crap at everything except maybe trying to put a song together.
Yeah.
So we decided we better write a song, and it had to be a Christmas song because with a Christmas hit, you get a Christmas #1. The charts freeze through the week before Christmas right through to
It's
early January
that,
or whatever.
yeah.
So you can sell 3 times as many records over that period as you could with a #1 record any other time. So it was quite cold and calculated what we were doing.
Yeah.
You know, we had to sculpt it to generate as much money as possible. And of course, being Sado musicians, we hadn't actually thought that once you make a Christmas record, it might just get played every Christmas, which means it generates income for the Band-Aid Trust every year. So
now, did you write it knowing that you're going to have a bunch of different singers, or you was just writing it as one person singing it?
The idea was just kind of write a song and get as many people involved as possible, because the song wasn't great. The song was incredibly average. It's a song with no chorus.
Yeah.
You know, the sing-along thing at the end, but other than that, there is no chorus. It's a really strange arrangement. So we needed the strength of, you know, whoever else was around at the time. So we got the kind of creme de la creme of the British kind of pop industry and to come and put some kudos and quality to it. So we didn't initially think everyone's going to sing a line or half a line or whatever it was. We just did it and then hoped that everyone would turn up on the day. We hadn't actually spoken to an adult. You know, when we spoke to the artists, we spoke directly to them. So we hadn't spoken to an agent or a manager or a record label who might have written down where and when the session was.
Yeah.
And we just hoped that they'd all turn up.
Yeah.
So, and they did.
Yeah.
Including some extras that we didn't know were coming.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I know, but it did its job.
So it's credited as Ure and Geldof?
Yep. And I produced the record. I played all the instruments on it, except the drums.
Yeah.
It was Phil
Collins, right? Yeah.
He gave us his one day off. He was in the middle of recording one of his, you know, Uber-selling, you know, multi-gazillion platinum, you know, solo albums. And he gave us his Sunday off to come in and play drums on that, which was great.
Did you record it in that studio in Notting Hill?
Yeah. It was Sarn.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old Trevor Horn place. Yeah.
Yeah. I only knew it because I recognised the outside in the video.
Yes, of course. Yeah. I think part of it's still there. I think Trevor's kept a studio in the basement and have built flats on top of it now, which is a real pity because it was a really, in a way that Abbey Road or whatever was, that was an iconic place because, you know, Bob Marley and the Wailers used to record there and Hendrix recorded there and it's a real pity to see it turning into, you know, a rich man's pad, you know.
Like most things.
Like most things do, yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
So you don't make any dosh from that, did you?
Bob and I gave the songwriting royalties to the Band-Aid Trust. So long after we're gone, and see, I know, you could have advised me. You could have advised me back in the day. Midge, just keep 10%.
At least 10%, something. Do you think all that money that was raised gets to these places?
Most of it does. It's almost impossible to track it. You know, especially back in the day, back in the mid '80s when we did this. You know, there was a conflict going on. There was a war,
right? And then dodgy presidents
and all sorts of stuff. And you cannot just turn around and hand a big pile of money to people and go, right, you look after yourself.
Yeah,
it had to be monitored. But what we also couldn't do was rebuild the wheel. We couldn't just make a new charity. There's lots of really good charities with the infrastructure out there, and we didn't want to do that. So Band-Aid became a bit like a drawdown facility, a bank, where you'll get Save the Children or Médecins Sans Frontières or, you know, Oxfam or whoever coming to us going, we want to build this school, you know, will you part fund it? And this is what it is, because we pay for the structure. We don't pay wages. We don't pay money for people to go out and do this stuff. We pay for building the thing. That's it. So it's, you know, we do that. And we've been doing that for, what was going to be a 6-month project. It's turned into 30 odd years now.
So you're still involved with it?
Yeah. The original Band-Aid trustees who we put together on advice from George Harrison, who tried to do something similar with Concert for Bangladesh. Remember he did that?
Yeah.
And all the money all got eaten up in overheads.
Yeah.
And he said, get good accountants, and make sure somebody's looking after this, because musicians aren't they're notoriously bad at looking after money. We're not good. We're not good, you know. So we did that. So we put this body of people around us, music industry lawyers and Harvey Goldsmith and all of these guys who are still there today to oversee the funds, because of course every time that record played, it generates more income.
Yeah.
That means that we have to oversee where that goes.
And Live Aid was, with the shows, was crazy. Were you involved with the shows?
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole Band Aid Trust was. I did the UK side of it. Ultravox played the UK part, which was amazing. To play in front of that many people was petrifying, to say the least.
Yeah.
Especially with the electronics, because those things were flimsy and broke down at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
So to go on cold,
Yeah.
in the first hour of Live Aid starting, no sound check, and keeping your fingers and everything you had crossed that something, when you hit the keys, something was going to come out.
Yeah.
And it was good. It all worked incredibly well. But
Yeah.
what an amazing thing.
Yeah. Should we play another one of your songs?
If you must.
Dancing with Tears in My Eyes.
There we go.
Is that about me, Mish?
It is, well, I'm getting doughy-eyed just thinking about it now.
Jonesy's Jukebox, KLOS, with my guest Midge Ure. Take it away, son. You're listening to Jonesy's Jukebox on KLOS. That was George Harrison, My Sweet Lord. And we had Ultravox, Dancing with Tears in My Eyes. And the man who sung that track is with me right now, Midge Ure.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm doing well.
That's all right. You've got a gig tonight at the El Rey.
Yeah.
With Paul Young. What time do you go on? The usual 8, 9?
Well, when we started the tour, we kind of said we'd flip a coin to see who was going on first, and then I just thought, you know what, I'm going on first. It's just easy. I quite enjoy doing my bit and then going back and put my feet up for an hour before we go back on and do an encore together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm probably on about 8:45, 9 o'clock or something tonight, and then Paul's on after me.
Yeah, nice one.
Yeah.
So, remember Malcolm McLaren?
I do.
Did he ever approach you
Yeah.
being the singer in the Pistols?
I
or
don't-
something?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it was. I was, in 70, it must have been 74, 75,
Four.
74 maybe. I stopped coming out a guitar shop in Glasgow. And I was associated with the guys who owned the Glasgow Apollo and all of that. They managed me at the time.
Yeah.
But I was nobody. I was just a kid playing in a band.
Was that Slick?
It was just
Before
it was Slick,
Slick?
yeah. Before Slick was known, so it was the band Slick, yeah. And I was stopped coming out this music shop, and which used to happen a lot because when bands came to play the Apollo, there were no rental companies, So if you turn up and the band turns up and their amplifier's not working or a guitar's
Yeah.
broken or whatever,
Yeah.
you can't just rent them. So they'd say, go and find Midge, he's round in the music shop probably. So this guy stopped me, who happened to be Bernie Rhodes, who went on to manage the Clash.
Clash manager.
And he said, would you speak to my mate round the corner? And I thought it was about, can I borrow a guitar or whatever?
Yeah.
And I turned around the corner, and then this beaten up old, Cortina or something, Ford Cortina, was the most effeminate man I'd ever seen in my life. And it was Malcolm McLaren with his mohair jumper and stuff, and his curly hair. And I'm chatting to these guys. I'm sitting in the car with these two strangers, which sounds weird in itself. And he started telling me about, sex or seditionaries or whatever the shop was called. And the clothes that he made and the New York dolls that he'd kind of looked after for a bit or whatever. And then about half an hour into the conversation, he's saying, I'm putting this band together and, would you be interested in joining? And I thought, well, he hasn't asked me if I'm a musician. He hasn't asked me what I do.
Yeah.
So I said, thanks, but no thanks. No, I don't know what it... But the band was, obviously, what he was trying to put together was the Pistols.
Yeah.
So I never found out whether it was going to be you or whether it was going to be Lydon or, whatever, or Matlock. I've no idea.
Yeah.
So that's where it got to. But no, I turned it down and said, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, because I remember hearing that because... And then Slick happened, right?
Yeah.
Which was kind of Bay City rollerish.
Yep.
Was it put together by a manager, like a boy band?
It was no, the band existed in Scotland. We'd played the Scottish circuit for ages, so we could actually play. We were proper musicians. But at the time, Scotland was like a musical desert. We had no independent labels.
Yeah.
There were no managers to speak of. There were no labels to go on. So when you're offered a record deal, as rubbish as that record deal might be, it's a great record deal because it's the only one you're ever going to get.
Yeah.
And we took this record deal, and of course we turn up in London to go and make our first record. And as I walk into the studio on South Molton Street, I hear the strains of what sounds like a bad Bay City Rollers B-side.
Right.
That was my record.
Yeah.
The session guys had been in that day and knocked it off. They can do it in an hour, whereas a band that can't play can take 2 days or something to try and get something that's
And maybe
usable.
get it, maybe
and
get it.
maybe get it. Yeah. So, I find myself in this situation where I'm tarred with that brush, the slick, the teeny bop band.
Did you not like it, or it was like, oh, it's a bit? I'm making it, so I'll swallow it.
There's an element of it that, of course, it's great. It's, all of a sudden girls are throwing bits of underwear at you, and that's not a bad thing. When you're young, free and single, that's quite enjoyable.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, when I got the phone call to say that Slick's first record was #1 in the UK, I felt nothing. Because the only thing that was on that record of me was my voice. Yeah.
The rest was session.
Yeah, it was. I didn't write it, didn't produce it.
Was it who did it? Was it Mickey Mouse?
It was Bill Martin and Phil Coulter, the same guys who did all the Bay City Rollers and Kenny and all of those things. So it was very much a factory.
You didn't have the same manager.
No, we didn't know.
Yeah.
Different management.
And it didn't last long. How long did it last?
It only lasted about maybe a year after that record, because it was just the songs got worse and worse. Even though they knew that we were fledgling writers, and we could play. We were allowed to play in the records, but our songs weren't that good. So at one point, you'll like this. We walked in to do the new single, and he played it to us on the piano, and the opening line was, "Hey, hey, hear what they say. He looks just like James Dean." And I thought, that's it. It was called "The Kid's a Punk." And this was their nod towards what was actually going on at the time, without realising that we were dead. That whole genre was dead because you guys came along and blew it out the water, quite rightly so.
The band you could have been the singer for.
Or drummer, or guitarist, or bass player, or manager. I'd have no idea,
Hilarious.
So it was all kind of over and done with very quickly. Once I heard those lyrics, I put my guitar down and said, "That's it." And I broke the contract and walked away.
Was it like a bollocks contract as well?
It was, of course it was. Yeah. We'll pay you some money to buy sweeties.
We'll give you some luncheon vouchers.
Go and buy some candy.
Some luncheon vouchers.
Exactly.
Okay, you're listening to Jonesy's Jukebox. This is the song Midge is talking about. I actually like this song. I think it's so Bay City Rollers.
Oh, of course it is. It's the same guys.
Yeah. Slick, Forever and Ever, Jonesy's Jukebox, KLOS with my guest Midge Ure. Yeah. So did you write that? Not right. Did you play the music on Fade to Grey?
Fade to Grey, yeah.
You did?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We produced all that stuff. Yeah, it was the guys that. Visage was just a collection of our favourite musicians.
Yeah.
It was Rusty Egan from the Rich Kids and myself that put it together.
Yeah.
And we chose the guys from the band Magazine. Remember Magazine?
Yeah.
So the guys from Magazine who were great players, and Billy Curry from Ultravox.
Was he still in the band?
John McGeer was there, yeah. And Barry
Scotsman.
Adamson, yeah. So all those guys were all part of Visage. So, Fade to Grey was part of that.
We're going to visit the Duke. When we come back, this is good. I'm digging these stories. We're here with Midge Ure, Jonesy's Jukebox. You are listening to Jonesy's Jukebox on KLOS. That was Visage, Fade to Grey. And we had Magazine, The Light Pours Out of Me. Visage. Did you produce that track?
Yeah.
And wrote
the lyrics and the melody and stuff.
Yeah, and there was whose bird was it who did the
it's that old adage about where there's a hit there's a writ. And, we were in the studio, and Rusty the drummer, right? Rusty and I put Visage together, and Rusty's little Belgian girlfriend was there, a very sweet little girl. And I said, "Look, you've got this lovely voice. Can you just say these words in French on the thing?" So she does the French vocal, and we paid her a royalty. And a few months down the line, she hadn't cashed the cheque. And when we asked her about it, she said, "Oh, my brother's a lawyer." And he said, "Because I translated the lyrics, even though you wrote the lyrics, I did translation, I'm due a percentage of the songwriting." And she said, "But I'll settle for £7,000, which
That
was
was
a
not-
substantial
a
amount
lot
of
of
money
bread.
back then, yeah.
Yeah.
So we had to pay her this fortune.
So she didn't translate just the bit that she sung.
Yeah. There's the lyrics that I'd written in English, and
Yeah.
she did the French translation. Your two eyes looking cold and silent, and she just did "des yeux fixés fois," And that's,
So is she credited as a songwriter?
no, she took the money.
Yeah.
She's
Open the box. Oh, take the money.
Take the money and get me an outfit.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. I just got a text from Billy Duffy. You know Billy Duffy?
I didn't know. Yeah, I know Billy. Yeah.
Ask him about playing in Thin Lizzy.
Ah, okay.
So what was it like playing in Thin Lizzy?
It was great. I was a Thin Lizzy fan. I used to go and
Me
see
too.
them when they were a three-piece.
Oh,
back
with
in-
Bell, with
yeah,
Mr. Bell.
Yeah, with Eric Bell, yeah. And I always thought Philip was a fantastic songwriter.
Yeah.
A great singer, fantastic songwriter,
Yeah.
very, very lyrical and beautiful. And I was in the studio putting the finishing touches to the first Visage album, which that was on, Fade to Grey. And I get a phone call from Phil saying I'm in Arkansas. Gary Moore, one of the guitar players, hasn't turned up for a couple of shows, so he's walked out the band, he's gone, or we've sacked him, or whatever it was. Can you get on a plane tomorrow and come out and tour? And I got home from the studio very late, and I found a bunch of cassettes and a set list and a plane ticket and an itinerary saying you're getting picked up at 8 o'clock in the morning to fly to New York and then get a connecting flight from there to New Orleans. I'd never been to America before. So I get my big ghetto blaster and my headphones to learn the songs
Yeah.
on the plane.
Yeah.
And they flew me out in Concorde. So I didn't learn anything because it only took 3 hours to
Yeah.
get across the channel, like the Atlantic. So yeah, first night I arrive in New Orleans, and I'm sitting in a hotel room with Scott, the other guitar player,
Yeah.
learning all these bleeding harmony guitar
Yeah.
parts because every
Oh.
song had a harmony guitar part.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going blue in the face and red in the fingers trying to learn all this stuff. And within 48 hours of getting a phone call, I was on stage doing The Boys Are Back in Town in front of 30,000 people or whatever it was. It was fantastic.
Opening up for Journey.
Opening up for Johnny, yeah, special guests.
Now, did you... so how did it go the first night? Did you remember everything? Was there a few bum notes?
There probably were a few bum notes, but they were so loud I couldn't really tell. I'd never... I've been in a few bands
Yeah.
and I played some loud stuff. But with Lizzie,
Yeah.
if you stood in front of their double stack things,
Yeah.
the double amplifiers, you could hear nothing but you. So you take one step to the one side and you hear nothing but drums. You take a step to the
Yeah.
other side, you hear nothing but bass or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it was a real awakening, as to how these big rock bands work. But a fantastic insight to see the tail end of that big Americana corporate rock thing.
Yeah.
Because it was in its dying throes, of course, at that point.
What year was that like?
It would have been 79, probably.
Yeah.
Because I'd just joined Ultravox.
So, more importantly, what was your look going with Lizzie? Obviously, long hair and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
I mean, Phil was getting a bit hip to the punk thing. We had a band together called
The Greedy Bastards, yeah.
But what was did you have the shoulder pads?
Yeah.
And the hair?
Yeah.
So
And the makeup.
and did you go on with Lizzie like that?
I did. And the looks I got, not only from the band, but from the audience, were quite
They
something.
wasn't happy.
It was odd, yeah, especially when you hit Texas. It didn't go down particularly well. There was a lot of sucking the cheeks in.
Yeah.
But they weren't that worried about that. They were more worried about guitar because I had a Japanese guitar at the time, and they said you cannot play in Thin Lizzy with a Yamaha guitar.
Yeah.
So they gave me this old Gibson Les Paul Jr.
Yeah.
Because that was cool.
Yeah.
So I think that made up for the fact that my cheeks were truly sucked in and my eyebrow was lifted constantly.
Oh man, hilarious. I got to tap on this again because this is news to me, man. When you and McLaren and Bernie Rhodes, you're in Scotland, you're in this guitar shop that you worked in or hung out in.
I was coming out the guitar shop, yeah.
You're coming out the guitar shop. Bernie Rhodes come up to you. He said, come here. You got in a car with Malcolm McLaren and Bernie Rhodes, and they're like, can we be in a band? Which was obviously what the Sex Pistols was going to be.
Yep.
But you just told me, after telling that story off the air, that they were up there selling equipment.
It seems that they had travelled from London, stopping off at various cities, with the trunk of the car full of slightly hot equipment.
Gear that I'd nicked.
Gear that you now tell me that you had nicked.
Well, they didn't nick it.
No, I think they didn't.
They wouldn't know how to
I was
steal.
going to say, I don't think they had
Not
had
the
what
bottle.
it takes.
Didn't
No.
have the bottle.
No. So I turned down the chance of joining the Pistols, but I bought an amplifier.
Yeah.
They opened up the boot like a couple of second-hand, dodgy
You're welcome.
barra boys.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much for that.
What did you notice? What it was? It was a twin?
It was a Fender
head?
amp head, yeah. And
was it a bass head?
It might well have been.
Yeah, I remember that.
A Fender amp head, which I wandered off through the streets of Glasgow carrying.
Oh, you're lucky.
So after all these years, thank you.
That is.
Thank you. It's very kind of you to supply me with equipment.
I know. I had no idea. They're nicking it off me. To flog it. Because Bernie Rose.
There's a lot of thieves out there.
I know. You can't trust anybody. Because the famous story at Bowie's farewell tour, I've said this a million times. Sorry to bore you if you've heard this 10,000 times. But I got on stage. They did 2 nights at Hammersmith Odeon. I got on after first night. Nicked about 10 Neumann mics that are worth $10 billion.
Very expensive, yeah.
I got the bass player's Sun amp and the cymbals and Bowie's microphone. And I gave all the mics to Bernie Rhodes. I didn't know what they were. I didn't know what recording was or anything. So he's conned them off me, probably. Said something. Oh, I'll have them, Steve.
I'll take those off your hands,
yeah,
son.
it's 10 bob. And I didn't know. So
That's hysterical.
I bet there was some. I bet there, and that's it's just what is boggling to me is that they were like just a couple of Fagin, like a couple of merchants. I had no idea they were flogging the gear that I nicked
A couple
and
of
left
boys,
with them.
Yeah. So the long journey to Glasgow, they went back probably empty-handed. So it was a fruitful excursion for them.
Yeah. Bleeding cheek. Bleeding cheek, man. Should we play some music? Oh, let me just plug you again. You're playing tonight at the El Rey
At the El Rey, yeah.
with Paul Young.
Yep.
And you go on first?
I think I'm going on first tonight. Yeah, I'm quite happy doing that.
Yeah.
I've got no ego in that respect.
Yeah. All right, buddy. What are we going to play? Any ideas? Pistols?
Yeah, come on.
What one do you want to hear? What one do you want to hear? Don't say Bodies.
I want to hear.
Do you want me to say some names?
Yeah, go on.
Liar?
No.
You don't want to hear Liar?
No. Do I?
Are you a liar?
I'm not a liar.
No, he's just... I'm just thinking of the ones that don't have swear words. I think it's only...
Really?
It's only... Well, New York, he says number 2.
All right.
And Bodies, obviously. He's effing all over the place. There's... Do you want to hear the single?
I want to hear God Save the Queen, because
Okay.
when this came on the radio, it was one of the best produced records, and your guitar sound was stonkingly good.
The band you could have been in. Midge Ure, Jonesy's Jukebox, KLOS. Comment?
Yeah, one of the best records in the world.
Jonesy's Jukebox, KLOS. My guest, Midge Ure. That was Sex Pistols, God Save the Queen. And you wrote a song with Phil, Yellow Pearl.
I did, yeah.
It was on a solo album. What did he do one solo album?
He did 2. Yeah, I can't remember what the first one. One was solo in Soho. I can't remember what the other one was.
I think I played on it.
Did you?
I know I played on Black Rose on one song,
Right.
a bit of rhythm, because I was hanging out with him because we had that
The
thing.
band?
But it was a mess. Everyone was getting high, and we had there was some good moments. But yeah, so we're going to play that after the do. You're going to take off now.
Yeah.
Do you do sound checks or you don't bother?
Yeah, I got to do a bit of a sound check. Yeah,
Is it
little
good?
bit.
Is it good to do a sound check? Otherwise, you're twiddling your thumbs in a hotel room.
Yeah. Well, it gives you something to do. You know,
Yeah.
it just keeps you out of trouble.
Yeah.
You know, and it gives you that security thing as well. You know that you've done your bits, and you know,
Yeah.
you know what to expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always good.
Well, Midge, thank you very much
It's
for
been
showing
an absolute
up.
pleasure.
It was a great chat with you.
That was good fun.
Very good.
Now you know where your amps went.
Yeah. Bleeding cheek. I'm going to have to... I mean, it's devastated me, that. Just kidding. We're going to visit the Duke when we come back, a little bit more rock and roll.